But you see what I'm saying? Like it feeds into the idea that there are other options out there. And I don't know, I think it works against us having to experience the struggles of being in community with one another.
Right.
All right, welcome to the Church Dropout podcast. Thank you so much for joining the show. Church Dropout is a podcast. We talk about issues, topics, and teachings related to faith, life, and culture in ways that are sometimes funny, sometimes serious, but always insightful. If you have not already, please like, rate, and subscribe wherever you're listening to this podcast at. I am joined by my lovely wife,
Lisa.
Do you usually say your name or do I say your name?
I said my name, Alan.
Oh, I'm serious.
Are you serious?
Listen, we done did this so many times. I don't remember. All right. So, okay. So here's something that I've been thinking about. And I just want to know what you think about this, because I just don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. Okay. And just kind of want to dialogue about it. So is it a good thing or a bad thing that there are so many options out there, right?
Let me stop you.
What?
Because just so that you guys know, I have no idea what he's about to ask me.
Yeah, no, I'm being serious. I'm introducing the topic. I'm not messing with you.
Okay.
Promise.
Okay.
So is it a good thing or a bad thing that there's so many options out there? Like, for worship, for, church communities, I don't know, podcasts, like there just seems to be an overabundance of options for people to choose from.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And is that a good thing or, a bad thing? You know what I mean? That, I don't know, that someone could, walk away from a fellowship here and walk right into another one that's 2 doors down, or, if you want to hear something, you can just type into a search engine and say, hey, I want to hear or look, you know what I mean? Like, is that a good thing or is that a bad thing? And, I don't know. I just feel like there's an overabundance of information and things out there. And I'm not sure it's doing us a whole lot of good.
That's a good question. Do I think it's doing us harm?
Yeah. Do you think it's doing us harm? Let's start there.
No.
Okay. So you don't think there's an issue with people having infinite options to choose from when it comes to, spirituality and church and all of these type of things?
I don't think that it should be that way. I don't think that's the problem. That we need to look at where the actual problem is. And the actual problem is there being a church on every corner. You know what I mean? And
right.
Instead of, why can't we come together as one?
Right.
You know what I mean? Yes. When you think about it that way from the original issue, yes, that's what we would need to deal with.
Got it.
But there being all these options out there, I just feel like you just gotta, sometimes I'd rather there be an option there than not an option there.
That's true. So there, some of the options are fulfilling a need that is necessary.
Right. Yes.
A need that's necessary.
Yes.
I get that.
I mean, there's some churches that don't, do any community events, let's just say, and say that, there's people that, and when I say community, I mean like outreach, like doing something that,
right.
Is out, touching the community.
You all in my camera.
Sorry.
Your hand gestures.
Okay, so
That's what you riding the bike all in my frame. Then you doing what's that group?
Patti LaBelle?
No. They used to sing that song, Don't Walk Away. Don't walk.
Jade?
Yeah. That's what you was doing a minute ago.
I was doing
Yeah, you was doing this when you was talking. Anyway, go ahead.
I thought more like Patty, you know.
Oh,
Patty.
no, we can't do Patty. I can't do Patty. Lord have mercy. Please. But yeah.
But yeah, so now I have no idea what I was talking about. So what was I saying? Oh, so now if you have somebody that needs you to reach out to them in the community, say, you know, like, I don't know. I'm so lost.
Yeah, no. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to mess you up. But
That's okay.
no. So you're saying that what you were saying was like there's certain communities that do one thing and there's other communities that may do another thing. Mm-hmm. And so somebody having the option to be able to go to that community to do that mm-hmm. because they're not getting that here. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, that's not a bad thing. Mm-mm. Right? I don't know. I kind of see it the opposite way. Now I understand what you're saying. Let me say, I agree with you. I think all of this is created out of the problem that we have with the church today, mm-hmm. right? Like, mm-hmm. The idea of, all these separate churches and all, like, I get it. I understand mm-hmm. exactly what you're saying. Mm-hmm. But I still think there's a problem with that. Even the idea of what you're kind of expressing, that I can go here and get this and go here and get this, is like, I think that's part of the problem. When I look at all of these options, I think it feeds into this consumeristic mindset for Christians mm-hmm. where, it's consumerism, where we can kind of pick and choose, where we're going to go or what we're going to get mm-hmm. or, you know what I mean? Like mm-hmm. we like if I don't like this part of the meal, mm-hmm. Like, I don't know, like the whole buffet thing kind of comes to mind to me, mm-hmm, right? You go and you're like, that looks good. That looks mm-hmm. good. That looks good. Right. Mm-hmm. You go to your table, you sit down and mm-hmm. you eat and you're like, I didn't like that. I'm gonna go get another plate, mm-hmm. And mm-hmm. you're just kind of jumping from place to place. Yeah. I don't know. I just feel like that builds on this consumeristic mindset that we have mm-hmm. where we don't deal with the imperfections and the struggles within the community, because there's always another option out there. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Oh, well, my pastor doesn't preach as good, so mm-hmm. there's a million sermons I can go listen to. Mm-hmm. Well, is that the correct way to, you know what I mean? Like, right. Is that even the right emphasis? Right. That you're judging the delivery, Right, definitely. No, but I'm just saying, like, that's a real thing. That's a common thing. Mm-hmm. Right? And mm-hmm. that's what fuels, to some degree, these options is what we find lacking in other places. Mm-hmm. I don't like the way my church does Bible study, so mm-hmm. I'm going to go to this. Like, I actually knew someone who would come to worship at a church we were worshiping at, mm-hmm. and then go to another church that we were affiliated at when the sermon started. Mm. Mm. Because they liked to worship where we were, but they didn't mm-hmm. like the sermon. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So they would go to the sermon somewhere else, but they didn't like the worship there. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm. They didn't like the singing there. Right. Okay. Right. Mm-hmm. And so they would go to that church for that. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like, now that, to me, that is an issue. But what's the difference? Well, I don't know. It just sounds, it just sounds crazy. Like, it just, like, me, that's just like me. Yeah, it just sounds crazy. Like, for instance, when we have the kids and the kids want to go, well, you've given in to them. That's only one time. Okay. You know what I'm about to say? Yeah, I know what you're about to say. What am I about to say? When they want something different to eat. Yes. Mm-hmm. And, you're like, okay, well, we'll go over here and we'll get this food. Mm-hmm. And then we'll go over here and we'll get this food. Right. You know what I mean? And to me, I'm like, that's crazy. Like, right. you either we're going to eat here or we're going to eat here. Okay. But we're not going to eat in both places. Yeah. Okay. So why do you feel that way? Because it's a waste of time. There's nothing deep about it.
No, I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't say it's anything deep about it. I just feel like it's just not, it just doesn't make sense, you know? If I like both places, but today I just don't feel like it. You know what I mean?
Is it, okay, so let me ask you this. Is there something that could be gained or lost by me giving into the desire of them to want to eat different food?
Yes, because now they're used to, oh, okay, well, you know, if he
Right.
wants to go there, then I can always say I want to go over here and I'm going to get it.
Right. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yes.
And so I think that's kind of like where, like, I think it doesn't teach us to be long suffering with one another, and it doesn't teach us to eat food that we don't want to eat.
Right.
It's consumeristic. You know what I mean? Yeah, you fell into my trap.
I always seem to do that. It's okay.
That's how I caught you, girl.
I know.
And so, but you see what I'm saying? Like it feeds into the idea that there are other options out there, and I don't know. I think it works against us having to experience the struggles of being in community with one another,
Right.
and then believing that everything that's there is prepared for me. You understand? Like, no,
Yeah.
it's not. It doesn't work that way. Just because you don't like it, like you should be able to look. Like like if there's a song that comes on that you don't like, and you see your brother or sister next to you, and you see them, you know, in deep fellowship with that specific song or worship, whatever you want to call it, you should be able to engage in that based upon what you're seeing with your brother and sister.
Right.
Right. Let's just say you're in a facility or you're in a space where the worship is in Spanish, and you don't know nothing about the words that are coming, but you see people's hands raised, you see people engaging, you see, right? You don't need the words.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? But the natural reaction for most people would be, no, I need to understand, right? And so I need to go get it where I need to go get it, right? You see what I'm saying? So I guess what I'm saying is, like, there's something to be gained by not having a ton of choices,
Yes.
by being forced to live in community in a way that says, listen, I need to give up more than I need to get, right? It doesn't teach us to live in community where there's always the option that we can go do what we want to do, or we can go get what we want to get somewhere else. Right.
Yeah.
And we do the same thing with all of these outlets. That's what I'm saying. Like I don't like the way my pastor preaches, so I'm going to go, I listen to this person. Okay, but we need to check that mindset.
Yeah.
Okay, what is it that you're saying? I'm not talking about if somebody's preaching a message that's not the gospel. I'm just talking about you just don't like the way they preach.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, okay, so then you go and you know, I listen to this person because I don't really like the way my pastor preaches. Well, are we really engaging in fellowship?
Right. Yeah.
Are we really being long-suffering with one another?
Yeah.
What am I paying attention to? Is it the delivery that it is? But I know this individual and I know their life, and that transcends what words they're speaking. And so that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know if the choices are doing us much good.
Right.
I know we're in a place where people can hear. I'm not talking about individuals who have certain jobs or anything like that. And, you know, I'm talking about like where people are forsaking any type of local fellowship and community because there's a plethora of abundance everywhere else, because they're not willing to sit in a place where they feel like they're not getting anything. They're not willing to give up certain aspects of their meal so that somebody else can eat. You know,
Good.
so yeah, it just kind of feeds into that, right?
Yeah.
So if I do that all the time with our kids, then they never learn to, okay, you know, well, I need to give in to what, you know, Cam wants, or, you know what I mean?
Right.
Or, you know, like you said, you know, it's, well, every time now it's like, oh, I want to get what I want. I don't want to eat what they, right? But that's the way we function as Christians.
Yeah.
That's what we do as Christians. You know what I mean? And so I think it works against what Christ is actually trying to produce in us. When we look at the scripture and we see how the early church was dealing with these issues, none of that included going somewhere else. It included, we need to fix fellowship centered on Christ, and here's how we need to bring this to order.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so I don't know, like, I just think these options, they're great to some degree, but I think there's been an over reliance on them to the point where we've forsaken community with one another and the struggles that ultimately define the beauty of community, because we are easy to forsake and to go do something else or to go get something else, you know, that I won't stick here because there's love in this fellowship, and it may not be going the way I want it to go. It may not be sounding the way I want it to sound. It may not even look the way I desire it to look.
Right.
But I'm committed to Christ and to the stability of this body.
Yes.
And it's not about me.
Yes.
And I'm not here to change it. I'm here to I'm here to give.
Yes.
And it breaks that consumeristic mindset and
That's
that
good.
idea that there's just infinite options.
Yeah.
You
That's
know what
good.
I mean?
That's
Yeah.
really good. Thank you.
I know. I was right.
I'll give you this one.
No, I know you. I know you get it. I just, man, like, we just don't like. I just wish we would break out of this idea. I don't know what else to call it, but of entertainment. I just feel like it's just this entertainment culture that's taking over everything. We're attracted. Oh, well, he preaches better. He's like, what does that got to do with the life you're living in fellowship with other people? What does that got to do with that?
Right.
You know, it's, you know, it's not about being fed. It's about feeding.
That's good.
You know, it's not just about your healing. It's about healing others. You know, and so I feel like we're missing out. I feel like I've missed out. Because I'm used to the options.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Definitely.
You know,
Yeah.
you know, so from now on, you know, we're not eating out. We're going to eat one meal.
You're not eating out. You're going to eat one meal.
No, we're not going to have any choices. We're going to eliminate all
And
the
you're
choices.
not going to have any choices, because honestly, mom's choice should trump the little one's choices.
What?
Mom's choices in food,
Why is that?
because
You don't have
I'm
no.
mom.
You're right. You just gonna fall back on authority. You don't have no good reason. You just gonna fall back on authority. Why? Because I'm mom.
And they're little. They don't know what's best for them yet. So, you know.
They both know how you are with food. It's a shame that the kids don't ask you for anything when it comes to food. They don't ask you for a bite. They will come to me like, I want something. You know, they'll walk right past you and come over to me because they know that you do not share food.
Not if they already ate. They already got what they're supposed to get. Now it's my turn to eat. Let me enjoy my food. I let you enjoy your food. Let me enjoy mine.
You do not play with food.
It's like those dogs that they're all friendly and everything.
You get to that
until
food.
you get to the food and they be
looking at
okay. Oh my
All right.
goodness.
Well, that's another edition of the Church Dropout podcast. We'd love to hear your thoughts. So please drop a comment below. I could be off here. I don't know. Just a thought.
And I could be right.
Yeah, you know. No, but you know, we'll see. Right? But yeah, I don't know. I just feel like there's too many options, and I think it takes away from deep fellowship that's giving and not receiving. And so, I would love to hear your thoughts. Really, would love to keep this conversation moving forward. So your thoughts, put them below. And again, thank you for tuning into the Church Dropout podcast. We out.
Good night.